I'm Clegg Lewis. You are listening to Ground Zero. The outside alien threat is not just the idea that aliens could attack. The idea that the aliens want you to make room for them and what needs to be done to do so, whether it be culling the population or finding a reason to have contempt and hatred for an other. That's a latent, deep step in the collective unconscious. It's going to be there for a very long time. There's no way we're going to be able to get rid of the rage and the hate that they've groomed us for. And it's a consequence of how the media has been giving this one-side threat assessment about everything, whether it be COVID-19 or the war. This is, no comparative analysis is what is breeding this one-sided idea. And it once again, it uses this mass formation psychosis in order to get the results they need. And the media has played a very important part in setting the tone for this boundless virtue signaling that we see from people. But then when it comes to accepting the refugees, when it comes to doing the work, we see everything spreading from the lowest instincts to concrete actions and reactive measures at the highest level of political decision-making. And people die in the process, and they clear the way for another group of people to take the place of those that have passed away, paving the new world order over the bodies of the old world order. And this is their agenda. This is how they manipulate us into becoming less human. Carlos in California, you're on Ground Zero.
Hey, Clyde. Good evening. Your theory sounds to me very interesting, I'll tell you that much, about the colonization by aliens to this refugee process. I wonder, why are the Ukrainians being expedited in Tijuana, Mexico, ahead of all those other people, potential migrants that have been there for months? Ukrainians are being given priority. I wonder, is there something maybe in their DNA that they're looking for?
See, this is what's creepy. And you bring up an excellent point. What was it that they were pushing for before all this began? They wanted the DNA of Russian civilians. They wanted Caucasian Russian civilians' DNA for analysis. The biological component here should not be ignored. The idea that they're the preferred refugee now, when we have several refugees in Afghanistan and Syria and Libya that aren't getting a place. There's no place for them to go. But yet we're taking on the load of these refugees from Ukraine to Poland, Latvia, and other places. I shake my head to think, what are they doing and why are these guys preferred and so special? Unless, like you say, there's something important about them, or there's something that needs to be, I guess we need to displace a certain group of individuals to allow other groups of individuals to come in and occupy that area.
Yeah, but also I've been pondering about a totally different theory that I've had for a while.
Yeah.
All these massive migrations that's been happening the last 20, 30 years, they've been deliberately conjured up by, the deep state or whoever's out there, the Illuminati, whoever. It's all deliberate, okay?
Right.
But, hey, a lot of people say, well, they need cheap labor, da-da-da-da. No, it's way beyond that. There's a genetic component to this whole thing. Because you see, as people integrate culturally, they also integrate genetically, and they're losing their historical, cultural, and genetic roots.
And notice something else.
Part of the melting pot. But
yes,
you see, I read statements coming back from the 1800s by certain elitist families that claim, look, we're going to cause massive migrations across the world. This was back in the 1800s. And they said, we're going to force people to integrate genetically, but our race is not going to integrate. We will be the only homogeneous race on the entire earth. And this came from the elitist bloodlines. So I've always wondered about that.
Well, and you bring up a very creepy idea, because here we have, think of all of the untold reprehensibility of what we and other NATO countries have done. We've had occupations, mass deaths. We've created refugees. We've countless regime changes, failed attempts to change governments like in Ukraine and other places. And yet their preference is happening with Ukraine. And all of the other refugees are being ignored. So why is this issue? It's true. I mean, what makes them special? What makes them different? Why the DNA databases before all this took place? Why the concerns about genotyping and the biological labs? Why are all of these things of concern? Because something is going on that is beyond anything we can comprehend. And you bring up an excellent point to, once again, make way for the alien occupation.
Well, Clyde, I don't know. There's the whole thing. It centers around genetics for some reason.
Right. Who are the aliens and who are the Earthlings? That's the question, right? Who are the ones that are of alien heritage or of the alien bloodline, and who isn't?
Well, it could be that those bloodlines that I read statements about from the 1800s, maybe they're genetically alien. I don't know. They certainly came from elitist bloodlines that I've heard about who are super racist people. I'm not going to go into their specific
Well, Carlos,
names,
you once again bring up very excellent points that are, in my opinion, very creepy, especially when we're discussing the possibility of an alien colonization or occupation and how we're setting ourselves up for a very terrifying event, as most people have speculated, that the alien occupation, invasion, incursion is the next thing on the list for us to be afraid of.